comes into Ohio, we are going to be able to get it out.
Shot in the arm. Governor DeWine announces a big expansion to the list of people eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine. On the same day, the state launches a new vaccine portal. We have all the details.
New COVID rules. The CDC announces new guidelines for what's safe to do if you're fully vaccinated, including when you can now ditch the masks and social distancing if you've had your shots.
Scary moments for a Browns player after his 9-month-old baby was admitted to the hospital for emergency surgery and tested positive for COVID. What the family is saying today.
The interview heard round the world. Reaction today to the bombshell comments made by Prince Harry and his American wife, Meghan Markle.
And it's Mentor Monday. The difference a guiding hand and encouraging word can make in a person's life. We hear one woman's story of how a mentor helped shape her future. What's new starts right now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Yeah, we're excited about that Mentor Monday. We've got some fun details and ways that you can get involved and help out. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, Mondays in March, I have figured out, are so much easier when we get weather like we had today.
Yeah.
Hello again, Northeast Ohio. Hope you had a terrific weekend. Beautiful day out there. Thanks for choosing What's New. Along with Betsy Kling, I'm Jay Crawford. Betsy, a very good start to the work week to you.
Yeah, nice way to start the week. Of course, things are going to go up and down, typical March standards. Yeah. Matt Wins will be along in a couple minutes just to give us an update on that. But you know, the top story today, this week marks 1 year. It's been a year, everybody, since the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a global pandemic. And with that, our lives as we knew it changed forever. But there continues to be promising news. And there's big news today for Ohioans. The governor is expanding the list of who is eligible for the vaccine. Now, anyone 50 and older will be included starting this Thursday. And that's not all. Let's get to Laura Queso. Laura, there's a new way for Ohioans to book their vaccine appointments. It's pretty simple. This is what we've been waiting for.
Isn't it? And it's here. So it is pretty simple. It's an online centralized tool and it's super easy to navigate. But first, let's get to that expanded list. You mentioned, Betsy, those 50 and older can get the vaccine on Thursday as part of Group 2B. Also, the governor announced those with type 2 diabetes and end-stage renal disease can get the vaccine on Thursday as well. They are part of Group 1D. And let's get to the new way for you to book your appointment. It's a centralized state website where you answer a few questions, plug in your address, and you'll find where the vaccine is nearest to your home. The website is gettheshot.coronavirus.ohio.gov.
As of this morning, there are thousands of appointments available through this tool. So we encourage you to go look. Our team continues to work with providers to load even more appointments on the system, and we encourage more and more providers to get on just as quickly as they can. Every day there will be more appointments that will be added.
Keep in mind, through this new website, you can also book an appointment at the mass vaccination site in Cleveland. That starts March 17th. The state anticipates 6,000 vaccines will be given every day at this site in Cleveland. Also, there are more than 1,200 vaccination sites in the state as of now, according to the governor. As for the website, we have a link to it on our website on the front page of WKYC.com. But again, it is gettheshot.coronavirus.ohio.gov. So yeah, some pretty big news from the governor today, Betsy.
Definitely is. And again, if you're having problems figuring it out, or if you have a family member or a friend who can't quite get online and get that appointment set up, figured out, maybe help them out a little bit. There's been a lot of angels around Northeast Ohio doing just that. So Laura, thanks for the good news. It's a great way to start today.
Certainly is good news, and there's more good news on the way. Now on your feed at 5, this is the news that so many Americans have been waiting for. The CDC today finally releasing those much anticipated guidelines as to what we can do and what we should still avoid even after we've been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Some of the guidelines are eye-opening, like being around other people who are fully vaccinated without wearing masks or without physical distancing. What a change that is. Let's bring in our senior health correspondent now, Monica Robbins. Monica, I know you've been going through these regulations all day long. What was the biggest surprise in these regulations to you?
Still no travel. And you know what? Let's hope this is all we need right now. But remember, this is just phase one. There is still a lot of research that we need, and we're especially waiting on whether vaccinated people can still transmit the virus, because 90% of us are still not vaccinated. However, this is absolutely fabulous news for all those grandparents who've been waiting to see the family. The CDC says you can visit other vaccinated people indoors without masks or distancing, but keep the group small. You can also visit unvaccinated people from a single household, as long as no one there is at high risk for serious COVID complications. If you know you've been exposed to a positive case and you have no symptoms, you can skip the quarantine and testing, but pay attention in case you do develop symptoms over 14 days. You still need your mask and distance in public, and still need to avoid medium to large crowds. So remember, fully vaccinated means 2 weeks after your second dose of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine, or 2 weeks after that one shot of the Johnson & Johnson shot, Jay.
All right, Monica, we're getting there. Baby steps, but we're getting close. Monica, thanks. Now, as we continue to inch our way back to normal, 2 of Northeast Ohio's largest school districts are finally making the return to the classroom. This has been hot news. This week, Akron welcomed back some of its students today, and Cleveland is expected and scheduled to do the same later this week. Brandon Simmons has more on the excitement of getting back in the classroom after nearly a year away.
Have a good day. One by one, students began to show up at Windermere Elementary School in Akron this morning. The district welcoming back kindergarten through second grade students after being absent from the classroom since March 13th, almost a full year.
We have all been just over the moon excited to get them back in the classroom today.
Students were welcomed with new safety guidelines in place, including masking up and getting squirts of sanitizer before entering class. It's something kids are taking in stride.
And they're keeping the masks on without complaint, following all the rules like extremely well. Teachers are reporting to me it's just been a dream come true.
About 80% of parents opted to send students back at this particular building.
Just being back gives them that opportunity to reconnect on a personal level that we've been missing when you're on a computer.
It's a feeling Cleveland teachers like Tracy Raddick are looking forward to in the future.
I miss the kids. I miss that energy of working with kids.
Cleveland administrators plan to bring students back for in-person learning later this week after making changes to buildings to keep teachers and kids safe. But the teachers union hasn't supported the plan, saying more work needs to be done. Until then, teachers will continue with virtual instruction.
And I never imagined that we would be here a year later.
Raddick envious in a way of what's going on in other districts around Ohio.
There's just no substitute for being all in the same room.
Now, Akron will welcome back the rest of its students next week, and assuming Cleveland schools and the teachers get on the same page, they'll bring back students in phases through the week of March 22nd, Jay.
Good to see the passion. That last teacher clearly has it. That's a very good thing. Parents want to see that. Brandon, thanks. We appreciate it.
We have nothing to lose but our time. We have nothing to lose but our time.
Today, anger and frustration filled the streets of downtown Minneapolis, calling for justice 287 days after George Floyd died. Jury selection was set to begin today in the murder trial of Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer accused of killing George Floyd. But now that's been delayed at least one day. NBC's Jay Gray is live outside the courthouse in Minneapolis with the very latest on this high-profile case. Hi, Jay.
Hey there, Betsy, and despite that delay, as you talk about, hundreds showed up here outside the courthouse to demand justice, something they've done so often since George Floyd's death. That delay and the pushing back of the jury selection until at least tomorrow over a charging issue. What's happening here is the prosecution wants to reinstate a third-degree murder charge to go along with the second-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter charges that Derek Chauvin already faces here. Chauvin, of course, the former Minneapolis police officer who had his knee across the neck of George Floyd when he died, keeping his knee there as he begged for mercy over 8 minutes. So they want that third-degree murder charge included to give the jury some options when it gets to that point in this case. But Chauvin's defense has said it's not applicable in this case. The appellate court is looking at it. The judge says that he's going to hear motions tomorrow at 9. If he hasn't heard back from the appellate court, he says that he's going to begin jury selection at 10 o'clock. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out and what we hear either later this evening or tomorrow morning from the appeals court here.
Certainly an interesting one with the judge pushing back and kind of pushing the gas pedal a little bit, which doesn't often happen in the legal system. Jay, what is security like away from the courthouse?
Well, it's tight, as you would expect. We've got at least 12 agencies, law enforcement agencies represented on the ground here, local, state police, federal agents, and then you've got 2,000 or so National Guard troops on standby. Buildings have been boarded up here or barricaded. You've got a police presence in the main downtown area about every block here. I think it's important to stress, though, with all of that security, it's been very peaceful to this point. And what you hear from local police is their concern is outsiders coming in, mixing in with these protests that have been peaceful and trying to carry out some violence. And so that's what they're most concerned about.
All right, Jay Gray live in Minneapolis for us today. Thanks, Jay.
Well, Betsy, this next story is every parent's worst nightmare. Cleveland Browns player Ryan Switzer had quite a scare this weekend after he found his baby bleeding, and doctors still haven't figured out why. As if that wasn't frightening enough, the 9-month-old also tested positive for COVID-19. But January Keaton tells us tonight things may be looking up for little Christian Switzer.
Cleveland Browns wide receiver Ryan Switzer took to social media Saturday, asking his Twitter followers to pray for his 9-month-old son. And it seems those prayers are working. Christian is being moved from the ICU to the floor today. There were no more bleeding spells overnight, and all of his labs remained normal. We're thankful his health and his mood are slowly improving. Ryan tweeted this just hours ago after a scary weekend for the family. His baby, Christian Switzer, had been in intensive care with internal bleeding since Saturday, and he also tested positive for COVID-19. Ryan Switzer, who spent last season on the Browns practice squad, wrote on Twitter Saturday that his son woke up in his blood. Christian was rushed to the hospital, given fluids and medicine, and had emergency surgery Sunday morning. During the surgery, several sites of bleeding were found, so doctors performed a biopsy on the baby boy. Those results are pending. Meantime, tweets of support and well wishes coming in by the boatload. One follower writing, "The doctors are going to figure this out. Your boy is going to show you he's a fierce fighter." Another expressing, quote, "I have faith he will be fine because Tar Heels are tough," giving a shout out to Switzer's alma mater, North Carolina University. And so happy to read this update. Continued prayers for all of you. January Keaton, 3 News.
January, thanks. Good to hear little Christian is feeling better. That's certainly a great sign. Again, doctors are still waiting on those tissue samples to come back to determine the reason for Christian's bleeding. Well, it is a big day here at WKYC Studios. It is Mentor Monday, and we're helping students who are college-bound find out how you can make a difference in someone's life.
Plus, we'll have a look at the 26th Annual Critics' Choice Awards. It honors the best in film and television. Find out who stole the show.
And Matt Wintz will take more weather days just like today, please.
Well, absolutely, Jay Crawford. I think the weather is stealing the show today. A live look at your CSU cam. I mean, this could be mistaken for Florida, perhaps Miami Beach. It is looking pretty darn nice outside. Temperatures have responded nicely as well. How long does this stick around? I think that's the big question. And we've got some rain coming this week. We'll detail all of it coming up in the forecast.
Well, it is Mentor Monday here at WKYC Studios, and today we're partnering with College Now, Greater Cleveland, for an important cause to help recruit 100 mentors for local college-bound students. Applying and enrolling in college can be a very difficult process. It can be very confusing, too, and it's especially all of the above during a pandemic. But as one student tells us, mentors can really help their mentees overcome the hurdles that they encounter.
I will be the first one graduating from college.
Olga Cologne will be the first in her family to graduate college. She's studying criminal justice at Cuyahoga Community College with the goal of becoming a police officer. As part of the Say Yes to Education program, Olga was partnered with her mentor, Kristen McCaskill.
I wanted to be able to continue to give back to the community and another young woman and continue to encourage her as others encouraged me.
That encouragement was welcomed as Olga returned for her second year of college. First, there was an issue with her financial aid, and then a problem returning to remote classes during a pandemic.
I called my mentor because I was having a meltdown. I was stressing out.
With her mom and little brother both needing computers for work and school, the family was one computer short.
So first, just letting her vent and normalizing as a college graduate myself that we all go through that in college and you always have those stressful moments and it's okay.
It was then McCaskill reached out to Sherry Parks. She's a Say Yes success coach at Tri-C who was able to secure a laptop for Olga.
Our main goal is to make sure that students stay in school. So by any means possible, really, if it's making sure they have laptops, if it's making sure they have hotspots, if they have issues with their financial aid, we make sure to do their appeals with them.
Thanks to the Say Yes success coaches, Olga and her other Tri-C students have received the tools they need to continue in college. It's all about building a support system around students so they can conquer any challenge that comes up.
Sort of give them a boost because they're going to be awesome and do it all on their own as if they could. Olga could do it without me, honestly. I'm just honored to be part of her journey.
It's been amazing having another support, and I could just talk to her about anything. Like, it doesn't matter. She give me advice. She'd be like, no, you can't give up. Keep going. You got this.
That, of course, our Jay Crawford reporting. The Say Yes Cleveland initiative provides eligible Cleveland students like Olga with scholarships and other important educational resources. And since 2019, College Now has been responsible for finding mentors for all Say Yes students, as well as its own scholarship recipients. Now, the process to apply to become a mentor, it's pretty simple. All you need is a college degree and to pass a background check. To sign up, visit collegenowgc.org. The deadline is April 1st, but we're hoping that you'll sign up today and help us get to that goal of 100 mentors in one day. And Jay, we were remarking during that story, you know, this is such a cool opportunity to really have a big impact in some young lives and make a big difference.
It really is, and if you can do it and you've got the knowledge, please pass it along. There's the website again. I know, Betsy, you and I are both very fortunate. Our parents were very instrumental in guiding us through life. But, you know, not everybody has that luxury, and everybody can use a little stepladder, is what I call it.
Or they have it, but, you know, their parents need help, too.
Sure.
So certainly
yeah.
It's a good thing. You know who mentors me is Matt Wentz.
Hey, that's a good mentor.
I'm telling you, I am always like, Matt, how is this done? How do we do this? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? And he just keeps me in line.
Yeah. I sure do, Betsy.
He's good that way.
I don't have any examples, but I sure do.
Mentor Matt.
Yeah.
That's what we call him around
me.
here. Hey, we'll stick with that theme for our weather word today. Volunteer. Yeah, I think it's so important that if you can, that you do volunteer to help make others' lives a little bit better and a little bit easier. So I don't know if you're going to be able to fit that into a weather forecast.
Good luck with that one, Maddie.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. I'll give you that, but that's the way we start the week.
Jay, that's definitely not getting into this weather forecast, but I like that word. It's a great word. Everyone should get used to that for sure. Guys, is the warm air not euphoric outside? It has just been such a change in the atmosphere outside. Here's how today's going. I stood up to go over to my green wall. I'm still in my basement for those that haven't watched. I reached my move goal just now, just by standing up. That's the kind of day it's been across Northeast Ohio. It's been 108 days since we've been in the low 60s around here. If you're counting, 15 weeks, 3 days, or 29% of a year. So it has been a while since we've had air like this. I hope you were able to open up the windows. It's still a little bit chilly. Do you have a friend like that sometimes just says, hey, it's still not right? But the reason why the air is very, very dry, there's actually fire or weather advisories out for the area. Just not a good day to have the burn barrel out doing stuff like that because relative humidity is still low. So without that moisture in the air, it doesn't really feel warm, but boy, does it feel nice compared to where we've been. Coolest out towards the east, mid-50s. We've had 60s out towards the west. Look at downtown right now. That pavement really storing that 63 degrees. The wind has been the game changer out of the south and the west, really bringing in some of this warmer air. Look at the warmth out towards the plains, though. This will be heading in here. I'm sure there's a lot of parents that are perhaps volunteering to take out the garbage tonight if it's garbage night because it's just so darn warm. Any excuse you could get to head outside. So we had a warm front that moved through this morning. There's still a cold front off towards the north. This will sag south tonight and kind of wash out. So tomorrow winds will be much lighter, and also tomorrow we're going to have a lake breeze. We'll likely have that cooling from the lake head in as that wind's not going to be quite as strong. But we're still going to be warm tomorrow. We've got a couple days of 60s out ahead of us. Reason why this is all happening, low pressure heading south. What goes down in the west must come up in the east, so we've got the warmth finally after quite a pattern change over the weekend. We were kind of stuck in that pattern. National Design Mart hour by our forecasts, rolling into the upper 30s tonight for lows. You see how the clouds kind of sink in, perhaps some clouds around tomorrow morning as that frontal boundary sags in, but otherwise we're going to deal with sunshine, passing clouds tomorrow, cooler near the lake, probably in the 50s. You head inland, Akron, Mansfield, Canton, looking good. I think we'll make it up into the 60s again. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast, 61 officially tomorrow, what we're calling for. Look at this, warm up Wednesday, Thursday. We get that push of wind. In terms of rain, late Wednesday, especially Thursday, Friday. That's when the bottom kind of falls out. We're back into the 40s this weekend. And can you believe it? We're already switching the clocks forward this weekend as well. We'll take another look at that rain. And we'll also have Pop Break coming up when we return.
Oh, welcome back, everybody, to What's New. The biggest pop culture story everyone is talking about is the bombshell interview between Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and Oprah last night. We're going to have details and reaction from that coming up at 5:30. But for what else is happening in the entertainment world, here's Kiera Cotton with your Pop Break.
The 26th Annual Critics' Choice Awards aired last night live from Santa Monica, California, with Taye Diggs as the host. The award show honored the best in film and television, including Nomadland for Best Picture, Chadwick Boseman as Best Actor, Late Night with Seth Meyers for Best Talk Show, and 8-year-old Alan Kim, who stole the show with his tearful acceptance speech for Best Young Actor.
There'll be another movie too.
Now that's just too cute. Award season is in full swing, and the Grammys are up next. One of the music industry's biggest nights will take place this Sunday at multiple venues around Los Angeles. DaBaby, Miranda Lambert, BTS, Harry Styles, Cardi B, and so many more are all set to perform. Beyonce is leading the way with 9 nominations, followed by Dua Lipa, Roddy Ricch, and Taylor Swift, who each have 6 nominations. The 63rd Annual Grammy Awards will air this Sunday at 8 p.m. And congratulations are in order for actor Nicolas Cage. The 57-year-old married 26-year-old Reiko Shibata in a private ceremony in Las Vegas over the weekend. Shibata tied the knot wearing a 3-layer handmade Japanese kimono, and Cage wore a classic black tuxedo by Tom Ford. The pair were first linked together back in February of 2020 after being spotted on a date in Louisiana. And the couple's wedding date also had special meaning. Their anniversary, February 16th, also marked the birthday of Cage's late father. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Kiera. Well, coming up on What's New in the next half hour, it is the interview everybody is talking about. Stunning claims made by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, putting the royal family back in the spotlight.
Plus, one fast food giant is getting some major backlash today after a tweet. As expected, it's bizarre, and it has gone viral. That story ahead.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Welcome back, everybody, to What's New on this Monday, which has been a beautiful Monday.
Oh, gorgeous.
So it doesn't feel so Monday-y after all. I'm Betsy Kling, joined by Jay Crawford, of course.
So I'm excited because, we've been doing our countdown to spring, and that continues. We always do it every day at 5:30, so let's roll that graphic. And here's where we are now. Bets, we're 12 days away, but here's the real story, okay? We know that Saturday night we spring ahead.
I know.
And to me, that makes Sunday, I know that we have, the official first day of spring and all of that. Well, that first day where the sun sets at around 7:30 or wherever we would be these days, to me, that starts feeling like, okay, it's official now. We're there. Because you just have more daylight.
You want to grill? You want to do, we like to grill all year round, but then it's like legit dinner time grilling outside with light. And
we're close.
Hopefully the weather will cooperate too. We'll get a little bit of an update coming up in just a few minutes. But first, let's begin with 3 things to know now at 5:30. On Thursday, President Biden will address the nation on the 1-year anniversary of many schools and businesses shutting their doors due to the coronavirus. The president is also expected to acknowledge the sacrifices Americans have made over the past year and the losses families and communities have suffered. He will also highlight the progress made in beating the virus and moving the country forward. And COVID-19 relief may soon be coming to most Americans. The Senate passed President Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill Saturday. Now it heads to the House of Representatives for one final vote tomorrow before it would make its way to Biden's desk for his signature. It is expected to pass. The $1,400 payments are targeted to individuals making $80,000 or less and couples earning twice that much.
And let's take a look at our coronavirus numbers. Our cases, well, they are still well below our 21 and 14-day average. We have 1,254 new cases. Now, you're not seeing the hospitalization rates and the positivity rates, quite frankly, Betsy, because they have been so dramatically low. So we're going to kind of change up the numbers that you see every day. Now we're going to give you our 14-day average of cases. I'll explain why in a minute. That's a very big number. That number currently stands at 1,739. That number is important because that is the parameter that the governor will use to wipe out all restrictions. He wants cases per 100,000 to be down at 50. For us to get there, Bets, our 14-day average is going to need to be around 510 cases. So you can still see there is work to be done. But consider this. Our cases per 100,000 now, and this is a very rough estimate, but this number's close. It's at 160. Just last Wednesday, that number was at 179. So you can see we're inching down and getting closer and closer to that 50 per 100,000.
Just in case anybody questioned, Jay is the numbers man here in the WKYC newsroom. Definitely. Well, now on to our top talk, everybody. In a wide-ranging TV interviews, Britain's Prince Harry and his wife Meghan described painful palace discussions about the color of their son's skin, losing royal protection, and the intense pressures that led the Duchess of Sussex to contemplate suicide.
Betsy, the interview with Oprah Winfrey was the couple's first since they stepped down from royal duties. Here's just a portion of that conversation if you missed any of it last night.
I just didn't want to be alive anymore. And that was a very clear and real and frightening, constant thought. In those months when I was pregnant, all around this same time, so we have in tandem the conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title, and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
What? And you're not going to tell me who had the conversation?
I think that would be very damaging to them.
Well, what is particularly striking is what Meghan shared with us earlier, is that no one wants to admit that there's anything about race or that race has played a role in the trolling and the vitriol. What was that conversation?
That conversation I'm never going to share. But at the time it was awkward. I was a bit shocked.
And commentators in Britain said they were shocked by some of Harry and Meghan's comments.
There's never any excuse in any circumstances for racism, and I think it is important that
action is taken to investigate what are really shocking allegations.
Well, the interview is airing right now in the UK, so we are expecting some reaction from the royals later tonight. The couple announced they were quitting royal duties last year because of intrusions and racist attitudes by the British press. I mean, that's a lot to put out on the table. I mean, airing some family, laundry there, certainly. But when it becomes the Britain royal family, you got to kick it up a notch. And props to Oprah, because if you're going to have anybody interviewing you, Oprah's a good one to hit at, right? And she has a way that she can convey a message and ask questions in a non-threatening way and kind of open the door to people saying what they believe they need to say.
Yeah, the interview is going to make waves for sure in the UK. For her part, the Queen says she won't watch. Don't know how believable that is. I know Meghan made a claim yesterday that she never Googled Harry or the royal family, and a lot of Americans found that almost impossible to believe in the digital and information age. This, I thought, was interesting. I was seeing Saturday and Sunday before the interview aired that experts were expecting viewership to be at Super Bowl level, which is 90 million people. And when I first saw that, I thought, I don't think there's that kind of fascination in the U.S. about the royal family. The viewership numbers came in far under what expectations were. 17 million viewed it instead of the 90 million that view the Super Bowl. I'm sure in the UK, it's going to be a big number.
It will be. There will be responses. They're going to be going back and forth.
This isn't over.
This is far from over.
Okay, ahead on What's New. Do you remember what you were doing last year at this time? Remember, before our normal evaporated? We're going to look back at some pictures just before the pandemic really hit here in Ohio to remember what life used to be like.
Plus, the annual Cleveland Marathon has been postponed, but there's a way around still making something special happen. We have details ahead.
And time for our Save Our Sauce campaign. Today and this week, we're going to the Tremont neighborhood. That's one of the best foodie neighborhoods in the Cleveland area. This is Prosperity Social Club. We featured them before on What's New. They're, of course, running their fish fry specials. They have a great patio atmosphere. Check out this restaurant and more from our Doug Tratner. It's at WKYC.com/Save Our Sauce. What's News coming right back.
An in-person race will now be held in the fall. Hello, Al. We are talking about bad Burger King tweets and what the celebrities have to say about the Royals and a marathon. Pop in here. I think the tweet's bad because Burger King has Coke Ices. Can't really get mad about that. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, Al, you got me okay? Do I look any younger? Oh, come on. Oh, I feel it. I feel it in my back.
We welcome you back with more signs of spring. Take a look at Burton Square today. You can see the maple buckets on many of the trees. The sun is finally shining. It's a great day to step outside, most certainly. And you know, Matt, when's the sap going and the maple syrups, making started, it's always a really big deal. But this morning at about 6:45 a.m., I heard the sweetest little chirp, chirp, chirp of a bird outside my window. And I thought, well, maybe this whole spring thing, there's a few trade-offs. 6:45 was a little early, little bird.
Oh, yeah, Betsy, and they don't, just like children, they don't adhere to the time change coming up this weekend. You know, that's bringing back bad memories. I'm starting to break out into hives of last spring. We had birds that built a nest in our gutter right outside our bedroom window, so that was a lot of fun, especially when they had babies. So we had babies crying in our house. There's babies crying outside. It's just, isn't spring lovely, everybody? It's just a train wreck. Just kidding. It really is a beautiful time of year. I was looking out back today. I'm going to just tell stories the whole time if that's okay. I was looking out back today and a squirrel was inside our playhouse that we shoot from in the summertime. It was in the kitchen in the playhouse just eating, I don't know, whatever it buried the year. So just interesting, Mother Nature this time of year and nature in general. Temperatures today, these are hot off the press. 61 officially at Hopkins, 60 Mansfield, Lorraine checking in at 60. Area wide, we were pretty balmy today. Pretty nice, right? 50s and 60s, still pretty common. We're not going to drop very quickly here this evening. In fact, temperatures, because of the wind that continues to gust out of the south and the west, will slowly kind of head down into the 50s and eventually 40s overnight tonight. But that wind continues to be strong. This wind will back off tonight and it'll back off tomorrow. Tomorrow is a different day than today, no duh, right? But in terms of weather, we're going to have warm conditions, but we're going to have lighter winds. So that'll allow a lake breeze to develop, as you'll see here in a second. So there's our downhill climb. Some clouds building in here tonight. Notice how those winds kind of back off overnight. The warmth is with us, and it's in the plains. We're having record-shattering warmth in the Dakotas. They're going to get up into the 70s next couple days, 80s down towards the south. All this is heading our way. It's going to kind of come in waves. We've got kind of a waffly front here that will be in play over the next 5 or 6 days across areas of the Midwest. For tonight, though, this will settle south across the lake. Not expecting a lot of cooling from that, but again, it will lessen that wind as that low pressure pulls away. And then we're back towards the warmth tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday as well, all being driven by a low pressure heading down into California. Much needed rain and snow for them, even down in San Diego. As that heads south, everything pulls north. So here we go, National Design Art, a wide-angle view of what's going to happen in the next couple of days. You can see these isobars. That is the warming wind down to the south. In terms of rain this week, we're dry tomorrow. I think we're dry most of Wednesday before some showers come in. Here comes that frontal boundary, though. It's going to be in play Thursday with pretty decent shot of rain. It'll settle down towards the south on Friday. That brings chilly air in from the north. And then eventually everything comes back at us next week after a pretty chilly weekend. It's really one side of the front or the other with this. In terms of snow, we're not expecting any here, but they're going to get hit hard out in areas of Colorado. This is actually their snowiest month for them in March. And for us, we'll be dealing with rainfall. Doesn't look like a ton. Bulk of it will be down towards the Ohio Valley, but still, we're going to get wet around here Wednesday night, Thursday, and Friday. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. There's a warm-up next couple days. Here's when we got on the other side of the front. And for you, Jay, I looked up the sunset time Sunday. 7:32 is when you're allowed to barbecue outside until, and then you got to head inside.
All right.
It's going to be cold.
That's perfect. I'll take the cold. The extra sunlight is definitely welcome. Matt, thanks. See you soon.
Yep.
All right now it's time to see what's clicking in Cleveland. For that, you know the drill. We bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Stephanie, happy Monday to you. Hope you had a great weekend.
Thanks, Jay. Happy Monday to you. You know, the 2021 Cleveland Marathon isn't canceled, but it is pushed back from May. There will now be an in-person race held in the fall, and that date isn't set yet because they don't want to conflict with the Browns' home game. If you're already registered, you can run a virtual race in either May or fall if you would prefer. And if you were originally registered for 2020's marathon, you can also defer to 2022. Now, the Burger King in UK made an interesting marketing move today. The company is now apologizing after a post that said, "Women belong in the kitchen." People thought it wasn't real, but oh, it was. And Burger King got called out for using sexism as clickbait. In the rest of the thread, the company did say, only if they want to, noting that most chefs in the UK are men, and they also announced scholarships for female employees. Still though, most thought this was not a good look, but it did get people talking about Burger King today. And celebrities have come out overwhelmingly in support of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle after the interview with Oprah. Meghan was called the Crown's greatest opportunity for change that they missed out on. Maria Shriver noted, "We really have no idea what goes on in people's lives," and many praised Meghan's honesty about mental health struggles. Tennis star Serena Williams called Meghan truly noble, saying how sexism and racism are used to vilify women and people of color, and how devastating, isolating, and lethal oppression can be. Critics, though, felt Oprah didn't dig for enough detail, but some who tore into them later backtracked, like Bethany Frankel, who said that emotional distress and racism must feel suffocating and powerless. Bottom line, lots of people shocked about what Harry and Meghan had to say, Jay, including this. We'll end it on a positive note. They did reveal that they are having a baby girl in the summer, and they're thrilled about it.
All right, and congratulations to them for that. Stephanie, thanks. Well, in some ways, it's unbelievable. In others, it seems like it's been much longer. But tomorrow marks 1 year since the first coronavirus cases were confirmed here in Ohio. In fact, right here in Cuyahoga County.
Do you remember like saying that story and thinking, okay, it's here.
Here we come. Here we go. Yeah.
And it's gotten a lot of people reminiscing today about just how very different our lives were 1 year ago. Now, social media, of course, taking to the airwaves and buzzing with people showing off the last picture that they took on this day. So we decided to show some of our pictures too.
I'm not a big picture taker. I'm not. But this one was sent to me just before the lockdown. That's my daughter, Kirsten, just a few months before she graced us with our first grandchild. She was visiting Hawaii. And I thought, for me, Betsy, this picture sort of encapsulates everything. It was the freedom that we were experiencing, but also to me, there's some, it's a touch solemn too, because we all knew what was coming. We knew what was on the horizon, and she did there when she was standing on the beach thinking about other things. That was the last real happy picture before the pandemic hit, for me anyway.
Right, things certainly changed after that. Well, my pictures that I dug up were two of them, and they're show related, of course. Matt and our show producer, Monique, there on the left. That's inside the control room. No masks, no plexiglass, no gloves, no sanitizer. We're just getting the show on the air. And then on the right, if you will remember, we had to sit 3 feet apart. And it was all about making sure the social distancing of 3 feet. But we didn't have any masks on or anything. And as you can tell, I go back to my Instagram. You post your moments, right? Your life moments out there. We use Instagram quite a bit. And it's always so telling when you scroll back. I don't know if you've ever gotten stuck doing that, but you scroll back and go, wow. Forgot about that.
Another life.
I'm sure there's a lot of people doing that right now. Well, you can share your memories, please do, by going to the WKYC app.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some good ones. We'll enjoy looking through them.
Lots of those too. Well, after a long day, sometimes you're just looking to relax with a glass of wine or maybe some sheep, maybe both. We're gonna show you something good, huh? Didn't see that one coming.
I didn't see that coming either. I've never really said, you know, it's been a rough day.
I need some sheep.
I need to sit around some sheep. I'm sure we'll make sense of it. Plus, we'll meet a dynamic duo, a brother and sister team, hit the mats, and they take home titles. I love this story. It's coming up.
Now, happy International Women's Day to all the women and girls out there.
On this International Women's Day, we are highlighting a Perry wrestler who at just 11 years old is breaking boundaries and winning titles, once only held by the boys. Here's Dave Chudowski with this incredible story.
These boys don't know what hit them.
Carolyn, do you like beating up on the boys?
Yeah, it's funny.
But not funny for most opponents, boy or girl, that face the 11-year-old Carolyn Geckler.
I mean, she's only 70, 75 pounds, but she's definitely feisty.
No doubt. And a winner. Wrestling now for 5 years, traveling the country, she's a 6-time All-American, 4-time state champion, 1 boys, 3 girls, and a 2-time national champion. She just wanted to be like her big brother Marshall, also a superstar on the mat. He's 14 and a 2-time state champ.
Marshall just started wrestling, and then I was in like kindergarten when I started going, "Can I wrestle?" They were like, Mom and Dad were like, "No way." But then whenever I got into first grade, they started to let me wrestle.
Good thing they did, because this brother and sister have become quite the team, winning OAC Boys Divisional Wrestling state titles. This is the first time ever that a brother and sister have accomplished that feat. You and your sister, you're state champions. It's never been done before. Tell me why that was so special.
Because nobody else has had like a sister that was good enough to win it, knowing that she has to work double as hard to be better than the boys.
A lot of people are like a little bit shocked. Like there have been like a sister who's won like a state championship and a brother who's won a boys state championship, but there's never been a brother and sister who's both won a boys state championship. So I think they're pretty shocked.
But it really makes sense.
I'm just very proud that they're very athletic, and they get really good grades. They both carry over a 3-point average. They love it. I never have to make them go to practice.
Smart, funny, hardworking, and this 5th grader has even started a ritual. Every match, she has to wear different socks, never matching.
It started when I had these like pair of socks I got from the Dollar Tree. Like I was like, oh my God, these are so amazing. I couldn't pick between the socks. So I said, maybe I should mix match them and just do both, one of each. Now we have like 100 pairs of random socks.
So it won't be hard for her opponents to see her coming or realize what hit them as she chases her dreams.
I want to try and like place in high school and wrestle in high school on the varsity team. And when I grow older, I want to try and at least be like, go to the Olympics.
Dave Chudowski, great story. Carolyn, I'm not betting against you. I love the individualism with the socks. That's your trademark. About 25 high schools currently have girls wrestling teams with a few hundred girls involved. You may remember that last year we did this story. While it's not sanctioned by the OHSAA, the Coaches Association decided to get together and have the first girls state tournament ever last year in Ohio. Betsy, I'm sure it's here to stay.
That's pretty good stuff. Love it. Well, still ahead for us, how one woman decided to think outside the box to grow her business, and she's our something good. We're going to show it to you next.
Al, how are you? Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Hey, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Get the shot. Governor DeWine. Crane, what were you saying?
Hey, check 1, 2, 3. Brandon's microphone still here for the live shot at 6.
Hello, how are ya? 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, fully vaccinated means 2 weeks with the Moderna.
they happen to all be adorable, so that's good.
That's Janice Pate. She owns a vineyard in Oregon, but wasn't getting enough business during the pandemic, so she decided to invite sheep into the mix to roam and visit with guests. It looks like it's working as more people are coming now. Janice is the very first female in Oregon to buy land, plant a vineyard, and develop her own wine label, all on her own. Now, Jay, I know we talked about this, but to me, a nice glass of wine and sheep will usually end up with sleep.
Especially if you count them.
The recipe for the knockout, certainly, but hey, props to her. Gotta love those little animals.
Wine with sheep. All right, we're out of time. Back tomorrow at 5. We hope you join us.